right now on Inside Boston.
The economy is in shambles. We'll tell you how it's affecting your job hunt.
Want to be vegetarian but don't have the willpower? We've got a new eating plan that could be just right for you.
Midterms are in full swing. We'll show you why getting a good night's rest is more important than ever. Stay tuned. I'm Megan Peet.
And I'm Lauren Hugh, and Inside Boston starts right now.
Now, BUTV 10's award-winning news magazine program. This is Inside Boston.
Welcome to another edition of Inside Boston. I'm Lauren Hugh.
And I'm Megan Peet. Students looking to enter the world of Wall Street this spring will find themselves competing in a slimmer job market as the financial crisis unfolds. BUTV 10's Daniela Guernica has the latest.
With the downfall of several Wall Street firms, students like Amy Bach must adapt to a new financial job market with fewer opportunities.
I've had to completely re-examine what I want to do when I graduate.
Amy is like many other Wall Street hopefuls, dealing with the reality that fewer firms makes it less likely to get the jobs they want.
There's going to be a realignment very quickly of what jobs really will suit the graduates of BU and other universities across the United States.
I am applying to a lot more places than I had previously anticipated before coming into senior year.
Randy hopes his networking efforts will get him a trading job come spring.
I've been in contact with over 20 companies. I've interviewed with more than 8 so far.
As the job market narrows, professionals advise students to broaden their possible career choices and find alternatives in other fields.
Companies aren't stopping hiring altogether. I think that what's important is to look at, sort of what your options are and to take a real sort of strategic approach to what your job search might look like.
With the large firms gone, students are beginning to look more towards smaller, privately owned firms.
There's lots of sort of less known companies out there that you wouldn't suspect but actually do hire, and they do produce products with people do buy. So there is really sort of a silver lining here.
Professors encourage students to point out their unique characteristics to separate themselves from the crowd. Reporting from Boston, Daniela Guernica, BUTV 10.
Students are also encouraged to take advantage of campus career centers and workshops to prepare for an active job search in this unstable environment.
The SATs could become a thing of the past. Some universities are trying to phase them out. Why? Inside Boston's Grant Mukai will fill in the blanks.
For years, high school students have spent countless hours studying for the SAT standardized tests for college admission, but starting now, the SATs may no longer be required. Universities, like this one, have long time required standardized tests as part of the admissions process. However, these tests have lately come under fire for being unfair. Fair Test, an organization that promotes test optional policies for students, believes that questions on the tests are better engineered for those who come from a privileged background, and a student with more money can, in a way, buy their way to a better score.
Over the years, people have detected that built into the questions there are subtle biases in the use of language or in the expectations of a kind of background that people have, or it may not be an official expectation, but if you've had that background, it makes it easier to answer the question.
Questions like these tend to use vocabulary words that wealthier students are likely to be more familiar with. For example, wealthier students also have access to coaching methods that poorer students do not because they cannot afford to pay for them.
But if you can certainly increase your score, that can provide benefits at the margin in college's decision about whether or not to admit you, and that's a benefit that accrues to those who have more money. It adds to the fact that, of course, people with more money get to go to better schools. Private schools are well-to-do suburban schools, so they end up with the major advantage in the first place, both their family background and the schools they go to that have better resources, more likely to have highly qualified teachers and so on, and then essentially the coaching just adds to that.
Nearly 1/3 of universities in the nation have adopted test optional policies. A complete list of schools can be found on Fairtest's website at fairtest.org. While the trend against standardized tests is sweeping through universities, not everyone believes the SATs should be abandoned entirely. Even some Boston University students had supportive opinions in favor of this traditional standard.
Yeah, I think they help colleges kind of differentiate from the very top tier of students to the middle tier, because a lot of times GPAs may be similar between two students, but one student, may really have a higher, intelligence and be better on verbal and math skills, and the SAT can help show that. So I wouldn't recommend getting rid of it if I was a college admissions advisor.
Because honestly, you have 2 years to take the SAT. There's unlimited resources, and you can try hard in school, you can try hard in the SAT. Really, both of them are going to measure your motivation and your intelligence either way. So I don't think it should be de-emphasized.
While the debate continues concerning the standardized tests, many schools don't count them as everything. In the words of Dr. Neal, it is real work that matters. For Inside Boston, I'm Grant Mukai.
Universities say they're looking for students with more real-world experience.
Let me tell you, the SAT is definitely the worst part about applying for college.
No, I certainly don't miss all those practice tests.
Well, there's still hope for those of you who want to be vegetarians but aren't completely ready to give up your meat-eating ways. Inside Boston's Erin Healy tells us about a new diet out there with options for everyone.
For many people, becoming a full-fledged vegetarian can be a nearly impossible task due to an inability to give up meat. A new diet featured in a book by Don Jackson Blattner called the Flexitarian Diet allows followers to enjoy the benefits of a vegetarian lifestyle while still eating some meat.
Essentially, the flexitarian diet is someone who wants to reduce their consumption of meat, but yet still consume meat. It's essentially the best of both worlds. The research shows that a vegetarian diet does reduce the risk for heart disease and other chronic diseases such as cancer, but it's difficult socially to be completely vegetarian.
According to the author of the Flexitarian Diet, with whom I spoke over the phone, this is a plan for any age and lifestyle. It allows flexible options depending on how much or how little meat you would like to eat each day. But how easy would it be for college students who oftentimes have no access to a stove and who have little money to spend on food?
Catering to vegetarians and vegans on campus, it is something that's really difficult. So I think it's really important for vegetarians and vegans to voice their opinions on the options that are available. There always is a vegetarian and vegan option available in the dining hall.
I think vegetarian's the way to go, so I'm for it.
You get the meat, but you also focus on the whole vegetarian thing. When I look at vegan or vegetarian, I kind of equate that with, healthy.
I think that the more variety you have in your diet, the healthier you'll be. Eating vegetables and being mindful of how much meat you eat is healthy.
Most of the recipes in Don's book call for 5 ingredients or less. Plus, according to Don, meat is oftentimes more expensive to buy than other ingredients, such as fruit and vegetables, so this diet could actually save students some money. Reporting for Inside Boston, I'm Erin Healy.
If you want more information about how to become a flexitarian, check out the book, The Flexitarian Diet. If you want more information about pursuing a vegetarian lifestyle here on BU's campus, log on to the Sargent website. When we return on Inside Boston, we'll tell you why you should sleep more and caffeinate less.
We've got to look at some new four-legged friends on MIT's campus.
And I'll sit down with the coordinator of a new multicultural initiative here at Boston University.